The following program is brought to you by Pizza Productions.
The World Wrestling Federation, for over 50 years, the revolutionary force in sports entertainment.
What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to an all-new episode of the Totally Necessary Wrestling Podcast. I'm your host, Kim Porter. We got a special guest on this episode here today. Jamison is making his return to the Totally Necessary Wrestling Podcast. What's up, dude?
What's up?
Not much, man. We're here to talk about the week that was. So I guess we have a lot going on. We don't have not much going on. It's just like an automatic term, right? Whenever you're just talking to somebody, you're like, oh, what's going on? Oh, not much, man. It's like, dude, actually got my whole entire life in front of me. So it's a lot's going on right now, huh?
Yeah, and guys, I'm sorry, but I couldn't really do some of the podcasts because I got to go to Chuck E. Cheese and all that stuff.
So you had prior commitments?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, dude, it's understandable. Hey, half the time I don't even want to be here.
Yeah.
Now, Jack Hennessy picked it up for you last week. Jack Hennessy was a guest on the podcast. Rave reviews. And people cannot stop talking about last week's episode, Jamison.
Yeah.
Is that good?
Yeah, I saw him.
Yeah, you saw Jack.
Yeah, and even Jory.
Jory saw him too?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead and jump right on into our coverage for the week that was professional wrestling. Ladies and gentlemen, we kicked off Monday Night Raw with the return of Roman Reigns. Now, you knew that Roman Reigns had to give up the title back in October. Unfortunately, because he announced that he had leukemia, which is a type of cancer. I don't know how much... I mean, you know what cancer is. So really, we weren't too sure on how serious it was or when he would be back, but it was announced. It was announced last week, 5 days. I think we talked about it on last week's podcast. I think it was announced that day, so last Thursday.
We did.
That Roman Reigns was going to be making his return, at least making a return announcement. So I think we all kind of assumed it was going to be a positive announcement, and it turned out to be obviously that. So Roman Reigns announced that he's back. He's in remission. So what are your immediate thoughts on Roman Reigns making a return?
I don't know yet. I like him. I can't remember if he's a good guy or not.
People would boo him. But he was remember when we went and saw wrestling and we saw Braun Strowman take on Roman Reigns? Everybody was cheering.
Oh,
Roman
yeah.
Reigns. He's a good guy.
I remember.
People boo him though, like on WrestleMania, they always boo him.
I remember that one time when my face. Oh yeah, guys, I haven't told you this, but yet, it was really funny. You guys shouldn't have seen my face, but when the big guy, that really big guy that can do all these.
Braun Strowman.
Yeah, him. He can do all these things, and then Roman Reigns, he picked him up, and my face was just like wide open, like my mouth was just like what? And then he broke. Well, he dropped into the table, and my face was like oh my gosh, I can't believe he actually did that. I thought no one could pick him up, but I was just amazed.
That's actually my favorite moment in wrestling was seeing your face when he went through the table. You were so excited. So you're happy that Roman Reigns is back. It's a good thing. He's in remission. So I think it's safe to say we're all happy Roman Reigns is back. And we would actually see him later on the evening. But right after the announcement, we saw Roman Reigns take off up the runway. We saw Seth Rollins meet him at the top. So obviously reestablishing the connection of Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. So then we also did, in our next segment, we saw Aleister Black and Ricochet teaming up to take on the Revival. Now, the Revival are the Raw Tag Team Champions.
Yeah.
And Aleister Black and Ricochet just got called up from NXT. So they're working triple duty right now. They're working Raw, SmackDown, and NXT. And they basically have formed a tag team here in the last, this last month. Because a couple weeks ago on NXT TV, Ricochet and Aleister Black teamed up.
Yeah.
Ricochet came out and saved Aleister Black. Because Aleister Black was taking on, I think was it Bobby Fish or Kyle? Oh, no, it was Roderick Strong. It was Roderick Strong. And I think it was actually last week. And so they're making this, they're doing this tag team now. And they're making up a little bit for it. It's kind of weird because like Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa also got called up on NXT, from NXT to Raw and SmackDown. And they beat the Revival and the Bar, which... They turned around and freaking Ricochet and Aleister Black now have wins over the Bar and the Revival. So it's kind of a little bit of a reversal in a sense of like, I think they took Gargano and Ciampa off just for the fact of like they're building towards a match at WrestleMania weekend at NXT New York, TakeOver New York. So they're going to fight each other and they're in a separate storyline and they don't want them like teaming up on TV, even though they're going to be teaming up on NXT in the Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic that's going to be starting here soon.
Yep.
I don't know. We'll get there. We'll get there. But what are your initial? Do you have any thoughts on this segment? I know you didn't watch Raw this week.
Oh, I wanted to, but I just.
We'll start watching Raw more every Monday night. Well, I watch it Tuesdays at work. I shouldn't say that.
Yeah.
Because I listen to it in the mornings.
You're mean.
What?
Nothing.
I'm mean?
No.
You're supposed to be like, you're bad. You're bad. You're not supposed to do that.
Well, I didn't know.
I didn't know either. They didn't tell me.
Yeah.
I know. But now we're actually, because I know people who listen to this podcast know that we don't have the internet out here, right? We kind of just rely on our cell phones. Yeah. Because we live in the boonies. And we got a device this week, though, now that we can connect to our TV. So we're able to run our HDMI cord and run it through my iPhone. And I'm able to project whatever's on my iPhone onto the TV. And it's actually pretty decent. I watched SmackDown this week on our TV in our living room. And I watched NXT last night. I fell asleep watching NXT, actually. So, yeah. So, all right, let's go ahead and just keep moving on.
Okay.
So.
And my thoughts were, I like him. He's awesome. I don't know if he's a good guy or not. If he is, I like him. And,
So as long as he's a good guy, then you like him?
Yeah.
Hey, that's fair enough, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, Aleister Black and Ricochet are both good guys. And the Revival, they're bad guys, but it kind of sucks that the Revival lost two weeks in a row after the week, 2 weeks in a row after the week of winning the championship from Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. So yeah, so much. But that's WWE TV though. They book you out to lose a bunch of matches just to turn around and make you lose some more. So I don't know, guys. So we saw Dean Ambrose interrupt Elias. Elias was interrupted by Lacey Evans before Dean Ambrose came out. It's just Dean Ambrose is supposed to be leaving here this coming April. His contract's coming out. So he is just kind of like, we really don't know what's going on with him. Like he's kind of just doing some comedy shtick. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. He's trying to be funny, which he is funny. He's a funny guy.
Yeah, he really is.
Yeah, he is. And so we have him come out here. Basically, he challenged Drew McIntyre for a rematch, but a no disqualification match for later in the evening because Drew McIntyre beat Dean Ambrose pretty quickly last week.
Yeah, he really did.
So then he basically comes out and just messes around with Elias and asks for the dirty deeds because he was asking, Elias plays music and stuff. So Dean Ambrose was like, well, hey, do you play this song, this song, this song? He's like, oh, how about some dirty deeds? And that's the name of his finishing move. So he dropped the DDT on him.
Yeah, I remember that. I really don't like him.
You like Dean Ambrose? Dean Ambrose is a good guy, right? Like, I don't know. I think they mishandled his heel turn when he turned into a bad guy here last October when Roman Reigns announced his leukemia diagnosis. That same night they turned Dean Ambrose, and it was just you thought that was gonna be he was gonna be the best bad guy of them all. Well, he really turned out it was pretty lackluster, and he's already a good guy again. And pretty much it's looking like that they're gonna team up Ambrose, Rollins, and Reigns at Fastlane. They're gonna face possibly Bobby Lashley, Elias, Drew McIntyre, and Baron Corbin. But again, we will get to that later. You look so happy about coming out here. I bet you're kind of just regretting it, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
You're not regretting it coming on the podcast because you just look like you're like, fuck. Is he gonna keep talking about wrestling the next half hour?
No, I'm actually happy that came out because I really do want to came out and do it because I haven't got to do it lately.
Yeah.
You know that, and I just decided that I'm gonna go out and I'm gonna do it.
Hey, you have an open door policy, man. You always come out here and you contribute to the conversation. We get along really well. You know, I like to think we live in the same house. That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
So, I don't know, dude. So we saw Ronda Rousey and Natalya take on the Riot Squad. So you know who Ronda Rousey and Natalya are, right? The cat lady, the crazy cat lady Natalya.
I don't know why I just keep yawning.
You're yawning because it's boring you. It's like I don't even like you watch more wrestling with me than Jory does. Jory hates wrestling. As soon as I'm like, hey, you guys want to watch some wrestling? He's like, no, Dad. Like he just doesn't like it. I'm like and this is why you wonder why I don't want to pay buy you tickets for wrestling. He's like, I just like seeing it live. Whatever. He just doesn't watch it on TV ever, which is fine. I like taking you guys.
Yeah.
To the wrestling shows.
I used to not like it because I used to thought it was boring because like when you just sit at home and you just watch it, all you're doing is just sitting there doing nothing.
Well, yeah. That's like any other television program you're going to watch, though.
Same.
You sit there and do nothing. Except professional wrestling, like, albeit if you watch it a long time, it is pretty predictable. But dude, like some of the times, dude, you see something like, especially in like stuff outside WWE, dude. Like if you watch like New Japan Pro Wrestling, and like a lot of these independent shows. I mean, it's fun. I like watching wrestling.
Yeah, and like when you actually go there, like actually to the pretend I was going to WrestleMania, and then I saw Roman Reigns against Kalisto.
That's a random WrestleMania match. Kalisto taking on Roman Reigns. Is it going to be for the WWE Championship?
Yeah.
It's got to be, right? Kalisto defending champion.
Yeah. And so I get there, we sit down. It's kind of like different because you got people that are actually there to talk to you if you want, but you don't.
It's like there's 70,000 people here. You don't have to talk to them.
Yeah.
Whatever. I'll mind my business in this corner.
Yeah. And so like when you start to get like intense, like you can like stand up and like dun 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 or whatever like that. It's actually different just being like at home because you don't really like, want to do that because we'll have like your brother's right there and he doesn't like loud noises or.
So when you tell him to go to his room, you're like, you don't like loud noises? You don't like loud noises?
Yeah, but what?
Go to your room.
Yeah, but what if they don't listen?
That's when you. Oh, that's a good point. I mean, what do you do if they don't listen? You have to take tactics into your own hands.
I know.
Then you got to put the Stone Cold Stunner on him. You got to be like, hey, get up, Stone Cold Stunner, bam.
Yeah, I know some pretty good moves. I learned some pretty good moves because I do soccer practice, and that I learned some new moves, and I learned some new moves of fighting, and they help, and it's like helped me fight really well.
See, all the fighting moves I've learned is from professional wrestling.
Yeah.
I can do a Stone Cold Stunner. I can do the You Can't See Me, John Cena. I can do the 5-knuckle shuffle.
Yeah.
I can do a super kick. I'd like to do a better super kick. My super kick's pretty weak. I get to hit an RKO, but back in the day when I was a kid, it was known as the Diamond Cutter, DDP, Diamond Dallas Page. The Razor's Edge was always a fun move. A powerbomb's fun.
Oh, I know those a lot.
A pile driver was always fun, even though I think those are like you don't really see. You just like you pick them up like you're gonna do a power bomb instead of like lifting them all the way up so they land on their back. You just hold them up straight and then you just boom, you drop them on your butt and you smash their head in the ground.
Oh, I know those.
It's like kind of like a tombstone, but
Yeah.
It's pretty cool, man. Those are the moves I know.
Yeah.
I don't know. So we got to get through the week that was, dude. So we saw Ronda Rousey get involved in the match between the Riot Squad and Ronda Rousey and Natalya. Ultimately, Becky Lynch was arrested.
Yeah. Wait, why?
Well, Becky Lynch won the Royal Rumble this year.
Yeah.
So that means she earns the right to face the champion of her choice at WrestleMania. So she's chosen to challenge Ronda Rousey for the WWE Raw Women's Championship.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening is Vince McMahon apparently felt that Becky Lynch was getting too hot.
Like
Well, she was like she felt like she was like bigger than the company. Like, and WWE has this thing about squashing anybody that thinks they're bigger than the company. So Vince McMahon suspended Becky Lynch for 60 days, and so she can't appear on WrestleMania. And so they gave the spot to Charlotte Flair. So it's gonna be Charlotte Flair versus Ronda Rousey for the Raw Women's Championship. And Becky Lynch she's been breaking the rules and she's been showing up when she isn't supposed to. So they finally arrested her on Monday night.
But did she like try to like punch them?
She did. Like if you watch it, like she went after him. Like she beat the crap at Elimination Chamber. She beat up both Charlotte and Ronda Rousey.
So she got too aggressive.
She got way too aggressive. Yeah. So now she's in jail.
Like jail?
You think she's in jail?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what they say, at least. That she went to jail.
I'm surprised.
Raw was in Atlanta, so she's still in Atlanta, Georgia. You think somebody would bail her out, though?
Yeah. Wait. Maybe we're best friends.
Maybe her best friend shows up. She's from Ireland, so they could deport her, maybe. She doesn't have the right working visas. I'm sure she has the right working visas. I don't know, guys. So we saw Stephanie McMahon confront Ronda Rousey because afterwards, Ronda Rousey basically called out Vince McMahon after Becky Lynch got arrested. She called out Vince McMahon because she wants to fight Becky Lynch now. Mm-hmm. And so instead of Vince McMahon coming out, Stephanie McMahon came out. And Ronda Rousey did like the worst acting ever, dude. She's like, oh, it was just so cringeworthy. It was really bad. And so then from there, Ronda Rousey basically said that, you know what? If you don't put Becky Lynch back in the WrestleMania main event and make it a triple threat match, then she's not going to be the champion. So Ronda Rousey laid down her championship and walked out.
Dang.
So she left her championship all because Becky Lynch isn't in the match. So it's pretty crazy, huh? She's going to put her title out, take her title and, denounce it, basically. It's crazy, huh?
Yeah, I would at least take it.
Well, she wants to prove a point, like if you're not going to put Becky Lynch in, then she's done too. So that means there's no champion right now. And Charlotte Flair is like over on SmackDown talking shit. Sorry to swear. I don't mean to swear in front of you. But it slips out sometimes.
Well, I hear you curse all the time, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, you know better though to say the words. At least not around me.
Yeah.
Joking.
I'm just kidding.
I'm joking too. So we saw Kurt Angle take on Jinder Mahal. This is a very quick match. Kurt Angle defeated Mahal, so it's nice to see Kurt Angle pick up a win on Monday night. We saw a moment of bliss, which was Alexa Bliss having Finn Balor on.
Yeah.
You know Finn Balor.
Yeah.
And so basically they were teasing each other a little bit, and then Leo Rush all of a sudden showed up. Leo Rush shows up and is basically like, Bobby Lashley should be the Intercontinental Champion, not you, Finn Balor. And Finn Balor talked Leo Rush into having a championship match. So it ended up being Finn Balor taking on Leo Rush for the Intercontinental Championship. And Finn Balor, he hurt his knee during the match. So Leo Rush, actually, there was a possible chance that Leo Rush could have won the match because of the knee injury.
Oh, yeah, knee injury?
Yeah, knee injury. And then, but Finn Balor fought and overcame it and beat Lio Rush with the coup de grace.
Wait, what's that?
It's his finishing move, and he gets on top, and he does that stomp off the top rope.
Oh.
So, but then after the match, we saw Bobby Lashley basically degrade, I don't know. He's like running down Lio Rush for losing and basically bullying him. So it kind of seems like people are trying to get some sympathy for Lio Rush and make him into a good guy. But ultimately, Lio Rush was forced to come out, and Bobby Lashley fought Braun Strowman. So this match actually ended up in a no contest because basically Braun Strowman just beat the crap out of them all and just he laid everybody out and just took off. So I don't think the match ever even started, actually. So we saw a no disqualification match. Dean Ambrose taking on Drew McIntyre. So this is the match we were talking about earlier where Dean Ambrose came out and challenged Drew McIntyre to a no-holds-barred match. Or no disqualification match. It was a pretty good match, I thought. And then basically what ended up happening is so after the match, basically Drew McIntyre picked up the win, and after the match, Baron Corbin and Bobby Lashley hit the ring. They were beating down Dean Ambrose, and then Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns made the save.
Yeah.
So like basically reuniting the Shield there, but they didn't help Dean Ambrose up because technically Dean, turned his back on him. But they're like, it's a brother, we gotta let him in. They're gonna team back up, and they're gonna have that match at Fastlane. It looks like so. It's good to see that Roman Reigns is jumping right back in, that he's able to start wrestling again. Yeah. So we did see Bayley taking on Nia Jax, which Bayley defeated Nia Jax. So Sasha Banks and Bayley are the new Raw the WWE Women's Tag Team Champions.
Yeah.
Shut up. You're so bad at this. Like, I don't even know why I have you on here. You're just out here. Yeah. Well, I'm yawning the whole time. I don't know anything you're talking about.
Well, I can't really talk because you're the one that knows mainly everything, and I don't because I didn't.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm really quiet. And now I'm not really tired, but this happens to me all the time, where I just keep yawning and yawning and yawning and yawning and yawning.
It means you're tired.
Well, I'm not tired.
I know. I came home and you were like napping. It's like, what kind of 8-year-old are you napping at like, what was it, like 6 o'clock at night? Well, you didn't have school today.
Yeah.
Because you've had like the 20th freaking cancellation because of the weather this year. It's like I get up every single day, no matter what, I have to go to work. Could have gotten you to school today. It was pretty icy out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I got to work though.
Yeah,
so.
They just want us to be safe and not get hurt. And I'm not. Well, and I just want to say something. On the next wrestling podcast, we are going to say like this day and that, and or if we can't do it that day, we can do it that day. We are going to like do the happy fun time hour.
Are you making the announcement that you want to do the Dragon Ball Z Happy Fun Time Hour again?
Yeah.
Oh, are you announcing it now?
Yeah.
Are we bringing it back? Mm-hmm. We're going to do it?
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is that every week on our rotation, we have 3 podcasts on our on weeks, okay? So we have the In the Mouth of Madness podcast on Wednesdays, which that's a bi-weekly podcast, so it's every 2 weeks. And then every week we have the podcast that no one listens to, and then we have the Totally Necessary Wrestling podcast. So the idea is to help Jamison out by lessening the load that since we already have a podcast every other week, we just, the weeks that there's no new episode of the In the Mouth of Madness podcast, you get a new episode of the Dragon Ball Z Happy Fun Time Hour.
Yeah.
So we will see that this Wednesday. Yep, coming this Wednesday, guys. Brand new episode.
And if we can't do it Wednesday, we would do it on like Thursday or one of the weekends. It's gonna be on schedule. You're being held to a strict schedule of release. Yeah, but what if we can't do it?
Well, then we can just record it tomorrow whenever. Like, that's the magic of recording a podcast. It doesn't matter when you record it.
Oh, okay.
Like, we can record it tomorrow or the next day. It just has to be released every Wednesday.
Oh.
Well, not every Wednesday, but every other Wednesday. So you don't have to do it. We only have to do it like every other week.
Oh, my
And I think we should start like reviewing. Like we're gonna start from the beginning. We'll watch the first like episode of Dragon Ball Z, and we'll talk about that. So we're actually gonna review Dragon Ball Z episodes.
Why? I don't...
What? What's the point? Like I want to review Dragon Ball Z. That's fun. Like we should do a review show of Dragon Ball Z and just talk about the show.
Yeah,
the
but
episode.
I like to start off where I left off because I remember,
Some of those episodes were pretty bad, Jamison, where you were just rambling and you need structure. We need structure to it.
Fine. Some. Just only the bad ones, okay? Because I remember the times where I got a lot of people, like 10, well,
I had like 10 people downloads.
Like 18 or 19 or 50 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, one time we got 50.
Did we get 50 downloads that one time? I don't know. I haven't checked.
I remember
It's been a while since we did that show. I mean, it's been a couple months.
Yeah, I remember we got just one time, or maybe we got it like 10 times. We got like 100 or something.
No, we never got 100 downloads.
No,
not on one episode. That'd be pretty awesome, though.
No, we did.
Yeah.
Maybe it was doing that once.
I don't think you have access to the numbers, Jamison.
Well, I remember being 100.
All right. Maybe in your imagination.
Oh, you're mean.
I look at the numbers. I'm the one that sees the numbers.
You're mean.
Whatever, dude. So that'll start this coming Wednesday. So obviously this is a very lax episode here today. So the main event of Monday Night Raw this last week was the 70th birthday celebration of Ric Flair. So you had Sting, Shawn Michaels, Ricky Steamboat all come out for this birthday celebration, right? Yeah. Triple H and Stephanie McMahon were hosting. We saw all those superstars on top of the ramp. But lo and behold, when Ric Flair was supposed to come out, we saw, guess who made his return to wrestling?
Dean Ambrose?
We already saw Dean Ambrose.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, so what's some of our favorite Marvel movies?
Captain America.
Guardians of the Galaxy?
Oh, yeah, Guardians.
Okay, you know Drax? You remember Drax?
Oh, yeah, him?
Yeah, Batista. Batista's back on wrestling. He's going to fight Triple H at WrestleMania.
Wait, and he does Drax?
Yeah, he plays Drax on wrestling.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, he's back on wrestling now.
No.
So he's going to fight Triple H. And it was pretty cool because like he's coming back as a bad guy. So he does this whole thing where like he breaks into Ric Flair's office or dressing room and just beats the crap out of him and drags him out. And then he's like, just this awesome thing where he's just like, "Hey, Hunter, do I got your attention now?" And he does this like pause. He's like, "Ah!" and like screams. It was so good. It was my favorite part about wrestling right now. I was so stoked to have seen that this past Monday. So we're going to see where that takes us. Obviously, we're going to a Batista Triple H match at WrestleMania, but I'm pretty stoked on that. Don't do that. That picks up on the microphone. Sorry. I'm an 8-year-old. I don't know what to do about it. I'm just
You're mean.
I'm just joking with you. I'm just playing. I love you.
I'm mad at you.
You're mad at because I what? Because I made fun of you for poking down a pen? You're as bad as Ray was. Ray was over here slamming his cans on the table. It's like, hey, there's a microphone on the table, guys. So we saw on SmackDown this week, we saw a new number one contender. You know how I was telling you about the whole Becky Lynch thing with Ronda Rousey and how Vince McMahon replaced her with Charlotte? Yeah. Well, that's what happened here is because it was supposed to be Kofi Kingston taking on Daniel Bryan at Fastlane here in a couple weeks.
Yeah. But
Kevin Owens returned as a good guy, and he is replacing Kofi Kingston. So Kofi Kingston and the New Day were pretty bummed out. But I'm pretty interested to see Kevin Owens take on Daniel Bryan, though, at Fastlane. What?
I got a flirt.
This is like the worst podcast I've ever done. Like, I don't know why I even let you on here. I don't know why I put you on here. This is the worst podcast ever. If anybody's actually still listening to this, which this is gonna be the lowest rated like wrestling podcast I've done ever. Let's just get through this. Jeez. The Bar took on the Hardy Boys. The Hardy Boys are back. Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy are back as a tag team. I'm pretty stoked on this. Matt Hardy apparently is dropping his whole deleted or his whole Woken gimmick, which is probably for the best. Jamison's a jerk face. Worst podcast ever. People are like, yeah, you should make fun of him.
You're a butthead.
So Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy are back. The Bar got beat this week.
And also, you're annoying.
No, I'm not annoying. You're annoying.
When you go back...
If I take a poll, like, who's the most annoying person on this podcast right now, people are going to be like, the kid that farted? The worst. So we saw R-Truth take on Rey Mysterio and Andrade in the United States Championship Open Challenge match. I want to see Mysterio and Andrade. I love seeing those guys on TV every single week, so I could watch them every single freaking week. So I don't know. This is where I apologize right now, guys. I apologize for this is like the crappiest podcast I've ever done. Because I got stupid Jessica texting me, come inside, it's bedtime. It's 8:07, lady. Stop texting me. I hope you listen to this.
Ooh, I'm telling Mom.
I don't care. You can tell your mom that. Don't. You can go inside now. I'll finish this on my own. Don't do that.
I'm only going down a little bit.
Don't even do it a little bit.
Hear that, guys? He's the most meanest now.
I'm getting freaking angry now. Starting to. Worst podcast. I'm going to put this in the title. Worst podcast ever. So Charlotte's preparing basically that for her match. Possibly. Well, okay, her crowning apparently. Okay, so that's the whole point of this segment. Worst podcast ever. Like... What did I do to deserve this? It is 8 o'clock at night. I am not going to re-record this. This is what the people get. This is what... Every once in a while, you shit the bed. That's what we're doing tonight. Don't fucking hit the damn fucking table. No, you know what, people? We're not coming back with the Dragon Ball Z podcast. This kid can't do a podcast. He's the worst podcast host guest ever. Like, you're a fucking an asshole. Shut up. So Charlotte Flair is going to be back on Raw, thinking that she's going to get her the Raw Women's Championship because Ronda Rousey's gone or whatever. Rusev and Shinsuke Nakamura took on Aleister Black and Ricochet. So I guess it wasn't the Bar. They took on Nakamura and Rusev. Nakamura and Rusev as a tag team. Sure, I guess it's good for now. Good to see again. I guess our Ricochet and Aleister Black in a tag team title shot at Fastlane. I don't know, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see, guys. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. In the main event, we did see Daniel Bryan and Rowan and Kofi Kingston and Kevin Owens in a tag team match. Ultimately, Kevin Owens picks up the win and introduces the Stone Cold Stunner to his repertoire. Shut up. I can't wait till you have your own podcast. I'm going to do this to you. I'm going to do this to you on the next...
No, you're the one that's making me laugh.
You're the one that ruined my podcast, dude. You ruined it.
You deserve it.
I deserve this? Why do I deserve this?
Because one... When you go to bed, you always listen to a podcast. It's annoying.
When I go to bed, I listen to podcasts, so this is how you get back at me? Because
Because
I let you nicely sleep in my room because you're too scared to sleep in your own room?
What do you mean, liar? Liar, penis and play.
Then how do you know I listen to podcasts when I go to bed? How do you know I listen to podcasts when I go to bed if you're not sleeping in my room?
Because I hear you all the way into my room.
Oh, because I blast my podcast?
Yeah.
It just so happens I don't blast my podcast.
Yeah, right.
You have your TV up the whole entire time.
Yeah, but I can still hear it. A noisy.
You are nosy. I can't wait to when we build our new house. I'm going to put your room on the farthest corner from my room.
You're mean.
You're going to be the only one over there. You and the cat.
I'm
can
not
sleep
going to
back
live
there.
with you now.
You have to live with me.
No, I don't.
You have 10 more years of living with me.
Then I'm going to sleep in the living room so I can't hear you.
No, because I'm going to put the living room right next to your bedroom. I'm going to be far away from you guys. I'm going to have my own bathroom, too. Just like the old house. All right, that's wrestling this week, guys. I'm done.
And guess what? Henry hates you.
No.
He told me that.
Did Henry tell you that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
funny. See, this kid thinks he's going to be a comedian one day. Maybe one day he'll make me proud. But until then, he's just going to annoy me on my podcast. Last time I ever let you on a podcast. You're never coming back.
I farted.
You farted again? Oh. You're so bad. Ladies and gentlemen, there comes a time in life when you're either proud or you're not proud of your children. One day, when this kid's in his 30s, 20 years from now, I'm going to take this episode and I'm going to play it for his kids. And he's going to be so embarrassed. He's like, Dad, I never farted on a podcast. I'm such a liar. Watch, this is going to be like his defining moment of me. It's the remembrance of farting on the podcast. Alright, guys. So that was the week that was. We're not going to cover NXT. I fell asleep during it. Shit happened. I apologize for this podcast, guys. Sincerely. We'll get better. We'll be better.
I'm sorry.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am.
You're such a liar. Such a liar, Timmy. That's actually, I like this podcast. I like talking to you. People know this is how me and you mess around with each other, right? We just insult each other. It's kind of fun.
I'm sorry for all of this, guys.
You should be. You should apologize to people. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we'll see you guys next week.